Fuchsias grown in the ground are practical because they have the ability to regrow from one year to the next. The most well-known variety of fuchsia, commonly grown in the ground, is also the Riccartonii variety. Even in Brittany, it is possible to keep them from one year to the next. Small hedges can even be made from them, as they will remain on their canes without freezing. In other regions, it is preferable to provide shelter. As soon as they start to freeze, it is better to cut them back to be able to protect them. We will cut them to 15 to 20 centimeters in height. It's a shame because often in the fall, fuchsias continue to bloom, or even bloom a second time, or sometimes for a third time. So we can also keep these stems, put them in a bouquet if we want, and keep them indoors or make cuttings. So here I am dealing with a variety that is still more frost sensitive than the Riccartonii. With milder winters, we notice that this fuchsia continues to grow every year. Of course, we will provide shelter for it, which will allow it to regrow next spring. So the principle is always the same. I cut the stems to 10-15 centimeters, but I will protect it more compared to the Riccartonii, because the Riccartonii, perhaps without protection, would manage to regrow every year. You will notice that the pruning takes place at a spot where there are no leaves, so it is perfectly normal. If leaves are buried, there is always a risk of rot. One should never bury a leaf, even to shelter a fuchsia or any other plant. Just before covering the fuchsias, it is very highly beneficial to thoroughly and carefully aerate the soil with a garden fork. A little compost to enrich the soil and nutrients to ensure that the fuchsias will be much more vigorous and thriving next spring. We will also be able to add our dry leaves to the compost. So dry leaves are important. This will help in retaining moisture and providing essential minerals. One could also use straw as well, perhaps. The essential thing is to find dry material. And we finally finish with a winter protection cloth to permanently and securely cover the fuchsias. So this winter protection cloth, you can even leave it on throughout the entire winter period. It can rain, it can snow. Your fuchsias will be protected, even in very cold weather. In conclusion, if you live in a cold region, plant your fuchsias in well-draining soil that does not contain clay. Expose them to the west and take cuttings from the branches you pruned in the autumn.